All right, broski, I got another video, but it's on diet, bro, what we eat out in this crazy world of ours. Yeah, man. Stop worrying and just do this. Change your entire reality. So it's Lauren Knight Hughes. So I saw this interview with this doctor. It was Dr. Shafee and this other guy from Canada. They were having a standoff. He's a vegan doctor, and you know Dr. Shafee. He's a carnivore doctor and an athlete. So yeah, let's just watch this video and review it.
What's up, you guys? So I have been talking with so many different
I disagree on so many points with her.
people. You guys most likely saw the video with Dr. Nagra and Dr. Chafee arguing for and against.
Yes, I saw Dr. Nagra and I saw Dr. Shafee, and this guy was desperate, Dr. Nagra, and he still thinks he's right. Trying to make something that is fake right is wrong. That's it. It's just wrong. That's all.
Against a vegan versus a carnivore lifestyle. And
Vegan is fake and carnivore is real. Your natural diet is real. So how can something fake? He's trying to convince you that you could go fake. You should eat fake. You should be fake and eat fake. Now she's going to talk a lot about processed food, but the problem is the one thing she's missing is that fruits and vegetables are engineered by man. So if they're engineered by man, they're fake too. They don't exist in nature. If they don't exist in nature, they don't exist out there, bro. They don't exist in your body. And here's another thing. Unless you've grown a 4-stage stomach, which I doubt, okay, that you've evolved to that point where you can process toxins and sugar out of your system, then this has no place in your diet whatsoever. But nobody's holding a gun to your head to eat this crap.
if you haven't seen that, I definitely recommend watching that. The whole point of that was to get objective perspectives so we can identify the truth rather than living in echo chambers. There seems to be this one common truth, this one common, everybody agrees on truth. If we do this, if we implement this in our lives and we get away with all.
Man, she's crazy. Look, I watched part of this video. You are a slave, and they're feeding you a slave diet. They've been doing this for the last I don't know, couple thousand years. We have been devolving. It's kind of obvious. At some point, our brains got bigger and our bodies got bigger and stronger. But when we started eating grains and these other weird foods, we started, adding them into our diet. These fake foods, our brain shrank, our body shrank. So it shows you on a graph, we're devolving, and now we're rapidly devolving even faster because what happened was we started eating fake food. How should I put this? We're processing this food. We're eating processed food. So we are absolutely devolving at a rate. It's insane, bro. I mean, you're becoming infertile, can't have children. People are just coming up with all kinds of diseases. How should I put it? Mutations. It's insane.
All the noise and all the details and all that, but just implement this one thing. We will be so much better. We will be able to reinvent our realities. We will be able to reinvent our worlds, the way that we think, our income, be the person that we want to be, have the life that we want to have.
Yes, you want me to tell you what it is? Eat your natural diet. Implement this one thing. Do not eat anything that the government gives you other than your natural diet out in nature. That's it.
I've spoken with Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Ovadia, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Knack.
All these people live off of a business as well. They make money off of all this controversy. You can't make money off of anything natural. That is the problem.
I'll have Dr. Khan on soon, so many others that are of all different positions on this. And the whole point is so that we can identify the truths. The one thing that we do absolutely need to do.
Yes, Lauren. What is the truth? You tell us, okay?
The one thing that everybody keeps talking about doing is removing processed foods.
Why not just not eat processed foods since they don't belong in your body? You are not a cow. You can't process grass. You understand me? The cow eats the grass, you eat the cow, therefore you're healthy. That's kind of how it works. So why do you need to eat processed food? Processed food is sugar and it's toxins. So is this actual food? Is sugar food? No. Are toxins food? No. So why the hell would you want to eat sugar and toxins? I know, because it's a drug. They've got you drugged.
Moving processed foods, you guys. That's the move. And
Listen, why doesn't she just use its proper word? Remove the drugs off the shelf and stop drugging the population.
And we have proof right now that this is a really important thing because even in California,
No, really? You have proof right now this is a real thing that everybody's drugged out there and that that you need them to stop drugging themselves worse than the last time.
just recently, the state of California literally
So it's okay if they drug themselves a little bit, but not too much, right?
made 4 ingredients that are commonly found in processed foods actually illegal.
Yeah, because what happens with processed foods, they're made with chemicals. They're putting additives and preservatives and things. And that is what is devolving you even faster. You understand me? You are fucking getting weak. You're mutating. And people don't realize this. And it's being passed on generationally to their kids down the line. And then you become more stupid. You become, and then you have a whole bunch of health problems.
Have in there. So by 2027, companies who have these ingredients in their foods, they need to be out completely. The only reason they're making it by 2027, by the way, is so that these companies have time to do that, essentially. But ultimately, the article
Look, she shows you Pez and candy. Is that food, man? Come on.
reads that the California Food Safety Act prohibits the manufacturing, distribution, and the sale of food and beverages that contain brominated vegetable oil, no surprise there, potassium.
Didn't I do a story about vegetable oil? I told you McDonald's used to be healthy, but in 1990 they swapped out the beef tallow and the pork lard for vegetable oil, and then their stock dropped because it tastes like shit and it was unhealthy. That's why everybody's becoming so unhealthy and obese. They weren't obese in the past eating at McDonald's and these fast food joints. They were not obese. I'm telling you. Well, again, if you're eating too much potatoes, fries or whatever, a bunch of other weird stuff, maybe if you're horking it down like crazy, you could gain some weight from it. See what I mean? You could get fat. It's all dependent. It's all relative. But no, they weren't. These joints were not unhealthy back in the day when I was a kid. They became unhealthy when they went vegan.
Bromate, I'm going to butcher this, but profilorabin, terrible, and red dye 3, which can be found in candy, fruit, juices, cookies, and more. Okay, so what is that telling us?
Dyes, they cause a lot of problems for people, especially mental problems. They're horrendous, the shit that they exude on people. I can't even go into the whole thing, but it's crazy.
That's telling us that these ingredients are no longer acceptable by the state of California because they're actually causing common
They shouldn't. They all cause diseases. Come on, man.
diseases. They're actually causing.
If they cause disease, then think about this. If they cause diseases in your cells, that is cellular damage. It is something chronic hitting you chronically on a daily basis. You eating this causes anything chronic causes a disease. So you eat these chemicals, chronic eating them. They cause a disease because you're hitting it chronically. So you're mutating your genes. You're taking on more cellular damage. This is causing an inflammatory response. Therefore, you get what they call inflammaging. You're aging faster. You're really aging faster than the last time. You may die a lot quicker because of the disease that it causes. So yeah, I know people that were healthy. They never smoked and they didn't drink or anything, and they ate this kind of weird food. Had a lot of toxins and sugar and whatever. They thought, well, they didn't think about the food being unhealthy, and they died of a heart attack at a very early age, 50, 60, some 40 even, I know.
People to get diseases that they otherwise wouldn't have had. So here's the reason why processed foods are probably causing you to be sick and unhappy and maybe even anxious and all these other things that you don't even realize are coming from processed foods. Processed foods, whether that's chips or candy or cookies, they are designed by food scientists, okay? So food scientists are literally hired by companies.
Everything you saw there is sugar. It's all sugar. Is sugar food? No, it's a drug.
Is to come in and actually create the perfect little concoction for what the food will taste like to make it the most tasty food. So I think for like the Cheeto, I think there was something like 20.
No, they're trying to make it the most addictive food. Addictive is what they're trying to do.
7 scientists alone working on the taste of a Cheeto. And the point of that was to make the thing taste as
Yeah, the taste too. Yeah, to make you addicted to it.
good as it possibly could. What they're creating is called a bliss point, literally meaning this is going to release the most dopamine in our brains when we eat it.
Yep.
So why does that matter? Well, dopamine is what's often responsible for making us addicted to shit. We don't realize it, but as we're eating the chips and the dip and the things, like we're releasing tons of dopamine in our brain, which is making us have to keep eating more. Like, I don't know about y'all, but when I eat a bag of chips, I'm not just eating one chip.
Yeah, I've had this problem too. You buy a box of ice cream, you can't just have one spoon, and you end up eating 2 spoons, 3 spoons. You eat some, then you go back, eat some more, and then next thing you know, the container's gone. Why is that? Because you're looking for the first hit. Look, the first hit is never the same, and so you're seeking that first hit. The first hit, the first time you eat that chip, there's a huge dopamine spike. And so as you're eating the chips, it's kind of going down, but you're trying to get back to that first hit, like a drug addict.
Eating like 55 chips, okay? And that's not normal. We've been conditioned to believe that we should be able to healthfully eat processed food, and I don't agree with that. I actually think that a lot of people who help people with eating disorders coach on that too, and I don't agree with that. I think that food that has been kind of like designed and messed with by doctors.
Again, this is not food. This is sugar. It's a drug. These are drugs, and drugs are not food. I like what she keeps saying. This food. Just call it what it is. Drugs, man.
Is not right. We're doing something there it's working against nature, and we're chemically re-engineering the food to make our brains be addicted to it. So how does this turn?
What do you think this is happening to your how do you think this is what is happening to your DNA? How is it affecting your DNA? What do you think is going on over there? You like that part where she just said it. How is it affecting you? How do you think it's affecting you?
Out in our day-to-day lives? Well, if we eat processed food, that means that we're having a high release of dopamine, which means the dopamine, what goes up.
So if you eat these drugs, you get a high release of dopamine, just like any other drug. This is what happens when you eat drugs. You get a high release of dopamine. Are drugs what cells live off of? No, they live off nutrients. That's what your human body lives off of. Nutrients, that's what it lives off of. There's no nutrients. They're devoid of any nutrients, and these foods are fake, man. They have absolutely zero anything. So it's a drug. So people are addicted to drugs. And the industry knows that, and they keep you drugged.
Must come down, right? Then it drops. And so our mood goes like this all the time. This might have been a thing.
Yeah, just like your insulin. It's going like that all the time, your insulin, man. And then this inflammatory response, because every time you eat that, you get that bloatness, the gas, the farting, this, that. You get inflammation throughout your whole body. Your cells are inflamed because it's a drug. That's right. And then you accelerate aging and cellular, whatever, take on more cellular damage and a whole bunch of other things.
For you since you were born, right? You might be having anxiety, depression, kind of like feeling lonely and isolated. You might have been on antidepressants for years. I was on them for 10 years. You might have issues sleeping. Like, you might have all of these things that, whether you know it or not, are linked to processed food because they're messing with the chemicals in our brains. So why does this matter in the day-to-day? Well, this decides everything. Like, this indicates how much energy you're going to have in your day, what your mood is going to look like, and your mood is going to dictate how you show up in the world. It's going to dictate the types of friends that you have. It's also going to dictate your energy. And if you don't have a good mood and you have shitty energy...
That's true. It's going to dictate how you perform in the real world and how you perform in school, society, what type of job you'll have, what type of job you'll get. Yeah, man, it's serious. And it can affect a lot of people in different ways. So yeah, I agree with her.
Basically, you're not going to be able to work as effectively or as efficiently on your job or your projects. So your income is then affected. You're going to have lower income. There's a reason why often these highly processed, very cheap foods, in my opinion, are located in lower income areas. I don't believe that.
Lower income, even higher income. Man, there's two types of slaves. You have the poor slaves and the rich slaves. So the rich slaves eat slightly better than the poor slaves. But then again, now, what do the elites eat? See, here's the question. If poor slaves and rich slaves, they eat this crap, what are the elites eating?
Is by mistake. Now, we can come back to that another time. That's definitely a topic for another video for sure. But all of this has to do with our brain and how we think and how we, like the thoughts that we think, and it's all affected by the processed food. If you look around,
it's really easy, man. Just don't eat it. Eat your natural diet, and this stuff will go away. These industries, they can't live, they're like a drug dealer. So they sell you these drugs. You keep coming back for these hits, and you can't stop. But once you stop funding them, they'll go away because they won't have any money. They won't have any power to keep doing this. So, but you give them the power to destroy you. And that's the problem with society. They can't stop their addictions.
if you go in a grocery store and you literally walk in, the next time you walk in, or a gas station, is there anything in there that, like, unless you're looking at the fringes, all of it has a shelf life, right? It has a shelf life, meaning another human designed that food, tweaked the food a little bit, and decided to make it saleable by putting it on the shelf and lasts a while enough so that it can be purchased and they can generate a profit from it. That's not terrible. That's not a wholly bad thing that's going on, but that is what...
No, nobody's putting a gun to your head to buy this stuff. That is the question. Nobody's putting a gun. It's voluntary. You buy it or you don't. It's really simple. Don't buy it.
It's happening. And so it's not always that these ingredients that are going into processed foods are best for us. It's often that they're not good for us. So
I say support your dairy farmer. Me personally, I buy animal meat. So I support the how should I put it, the cattle ranchers and things. I support them because that's what I eat and it makes me healthy and I feel better. But yeah, I would say it takes a while to get off this stupid this drug addiction. Definitely, you're going to go through a bit of a withdrawal, but it's not really that much of a big deal because your natural diet really is a carnivore diet, is an animal meat based diet, and you'll find that you'll function a lot better, you'll feel better, and you won't want to go back. I mean, you will be drawn at some point because you're a recovering addict, so you're going to want it. But like I said, I don't know. It's all depending, right? It's like a person who's an alcoholic. Same thing.
the safest bet is to just start by getting rid of all of that and allowing yourself to just eat meat to start, 100% carnivore, or fruit if you'd like, and raw dairy and raw cheese, and go from there. Or if you're vegan and you're vegetarian or whatever, get rid of
Vegan vegetarian doesn't exist. It's fake.
all processed foods. I don't necessarily coach on vegan or vegetarian lifestyles. That's not...
Again, she keeps thinking it's just the processed foods, but she doesn't understand that these fruits and vegetables are filled with oxalates and toxins. You get it? And it's sugar. It's sugar and it's toxins and oxalates. And you can't process the nutrients. It's garbage. It's not. It doesn't work in humans. Man, you can't process cellulose. You can't do anything with... If anything, it's toxic. It's a byproduct, this fiber. It destroys your gut, man. You're going to get leaky gut and a whole bunch of other things coming along with that. So she should mention that, but she's not.
Really my thing, but I respect that people are doing that. One of the reasons why people find so much success with the carnivore lifestyle is because...
It's easy. It's because it has zero sugar and zero toxins. That's why. And it has a complete nutrient-dense micronutrient diet. It's complete, okay? There isn't one deficiency in there. That's why they're successful with it.
With the carnivore lifestyle, you're essentially cold turkey cutting out, and you don't have to do a cold turkey, but you're more or less blocking out any option to have processed foods.
Listen to what she says, cold turkey. If somebody has to tell you cold turkey, she's trying to tell you you're on drugs and you're trying to get off drugs. You're thinking that drugs are food, and drugs are not food. That's why they accelerate more aging. You age. Look, over the time you were probably eating some meat, you got some nutrients somewhere in your diet, so your body stores that. It can keep it for quite a long time. Here's the thing. You could literally go without food for 30 days and survive. 2 weeks without water and survive. So 30 days without food and literally survive. Okay, that's fine. So how long can you go on a vegan diet and survive on your stores that were already stored up in your body? Like these nutrients that were stored, so you're not completely deficient and you just completely drop off. Well, I don't know. I can't tell you, but I can show you a compilation where these vegans literally at some point their hair started falling out because now your body is allocating resources where it had actually stored these nutrients and now it's grabbing them from that area. So you're kind of wondering, why is my hair falling out? Oh, why are my fingernails falling out? My skin is looking really bad. I'm having these issues, I'm not sleeping and this and that. Because the body is meant to keep you alive, and when those stores run out, it starts allocating things everywhere. Yeah, man, to keep you alive. Your body would never give you a disease or anything to kill you. Its job is to keep you alive, walking and procreating on this planet.
But you're filling your body with so much protein and so much animal fat that you're feeling so full that it removes the desire to even have them.
No, that's not why you're full, because of this animal fat and all that. It's the nutrients that are found in the animal fat. There's a guy even showing online how to make, what is it? I think it's beef tallow. It's pretty interesting. People in the past they would do this, but anyways, the point is it's the nutrients that your cells want. They're just simply absorbing the nutrients out of this stuff.
So for me, for example, I found it very challenging to have some processed foods and not be able to just like have them all, right? So
why eat them at all? They don't belong in your diet at all. They're making money off of you, selling you junk that you don't need. Why? You want to destroy your health and get older? She's already kind of aging. Look at her face. She's aging because it shows up in your face. The first place this aging stuff shows up is in your face. Yeah.
a lot of people struggle with removing processed foods or have struggled with it because they're not getting the proper nutrients in other areas. They're not getting enough animal fat and they're not getting enough protein. And so they think that
No. They're not getting enough nutrients. Stop with the protein thing. You keep in your mind, you have an image of meat as protein. It's a high nutrient. It's high nutrient. Get it, lady?
they're the mistake. They think that they need to use willpower and all these different things, when in reality,
And it's not just high fat. There's something in that fat. And I did a story about it in McDonald's about what was in that fat. There's B vitamins and vitamin D in fat, a bunch of minerals and vitamins in there. What are you talking about? This is the stupidity that, people, I need high fat, high protein. No, you don't. You need a high nutrient diet, high vitamin, nutrient, mineral diet. And it's all found in animal fat and animal protein or animal meat.
it's like, no, you just need to kind of like shift what you're feeding your body so that you can start to kind of like get back to baseline. This is why often I think that starting with an animal-based or carnivore lifestyle, but specifically,
Again, she shows you cooked eggs. You've killed the nutrients in it. You should eat your eggs raw. This becomes carcinogenic, and so you're going to get an inflammatory response when you eat that. When you put that in your stomach and it's cooked, you will get an inflammatory response. That's why you always have an uneasy feeling when you eat them like that, and you can't figure out what it is. You just think, and then you're tolerating it, and you're getting your body to try to tolerate it too by force feeding it this shit.
a carnivore lifestyle is the way to go. If we're going to make this effort, you can actually allow your body to clear its gut out, have a healthier microbiome, let it reset for a few months, and then if you so choose, you can bring in some fruit. You can bring in some.
Oh yes, we can go and buy. We can just put back set it out, become all healthy again, and become unhealthy by eating man-made engineered fruits and vegetables, which are high in sugar, because your body doesn't distinguish between these sugars. And so high sugar and toxic diet, toxic environment, and oxalates.
Vegetables, if your body can handle it. You can bring in whatever you
Your body can't handle it because you can't process it unless, of course, you somehow developed a 4-stage stomach, lady, which I doubt.
want. Grain, if you want to. That's not what I do, but you can do it if you want to. But the whole
Those grains and that stuff, all you're showing is all toxic, full of cyanide and God knows.
Whole thing that everybody's agreeing on, regardless of who you are, is remove processed foods, you guys. This will
No, remove all man-made foods. Remove all man-made foods, and you'll be a normal human being.
completely change your life. It changed my life. The easiest way to go about doing it is starting out with carnivore because you don't get hungry. You're not starving yourself. You're not desperate for, the next snack that you can have. You feel full. You feel good. And then if you don't feel like you want to have that lifestyle forever, that's cool. But give yourself enough time to kind of reset your gut and your microbiome and your mind. Our brain is totally infiltrated by these companies.
Yes. Go natural, reset it on your normal natural diet, and then go back to eating this shit again. Yes, okay. That's great. What is the purpose of doing that then?
These you guys that are generating profit from us. We have so much more in common with one another than we all like to believe. We all think
All drug dealers generate profit from people that are addicted to their product.
that we're all like against one another, and that, oh man, if you eat, vegan, you're, this kind of person. If you eat carnivore, you hate animals and you don't care. And like, it's not true. We have so much more in common. We're all trying to be healthier. We all got here for a reason because we were unhealthy at one point, or we were overweight, or we had mood disorders or whatever. And ultimately, I truly believe that if all of us could just take a step back and stop trying to be right all the time and start trying to recognize the one common thread between all of us that is removing processed foods, we would actually come to find that we have a lot more in common, and also that we're just going to be happier. We don't necessarily need to worry about all of the major details because our bodies.
You do need to worry about all the details. Once you live outside your natural environment or natural diet, this is when all the troubles start, I realized. When you do things that are unnatural, they're artificial, living an artificial lifestyle, doing artificial things to your body, eating artificial foods and things like that, that's when all the problems start. What she should tell you is you should try to go back and live a more natural way of living instead of living so artificial, and all these problems will go away. Yeah.
Nature, the law of nature, all that will take care of itself, okay?
The law of nature will take care of itself. The law of nature is going to take care of itself if you're not living within nature. The problem is you're living in man's world, lady. Look what you're on. You're on a camera, and look at the background there where you are, what you're sitting in. Does that look like you're sitting in a forest somewhere? I used to make videos outside before because I wanted people to get a capture of nature. I was in a park. That was the best I could do, was film in a park. I thought it was a beautiful setting. People would get upset with me filming in the park. They would ask me, why are you filming there? Why? Because kids roam around in the park or something? They have this crazy idea that you might capture their kids on the camera. Okay, and what? You know what I mean? People are so insane in this artificial world. They're so crazy about everything. They think somebody gives a shit about their kids or something, or about them or whatever. The whole point is this. I'm just saying, you're not in a natural setting. You are in a man-made setting. And when people look at that, your background, it doesn't make them feel well.